Here are a few of the stories we have coming up this week.
Veteran care gets a boost in the president's 2015 proposed budget. And this Korean War veteran says skin color meant little to his brothers in arms.
Hello, I'm Leah Mazar with the Veterans Benefits Administration.
And I'm Kevin Walls with VA Central Office Media Support Services. You're watching VA News.
For the sixth consecutive year, the President has proposed a healthy budget increase to support VA's goals to expand access to health care and other benefits, eliminate the disability claims backlog, and end homelessness for veterans.
This is a strong budget, a significant increase for 2015, demonstrating once again the President's personal commitment to the men and women who have defended our nation, enabling us to meet our obligation to all of them. As we have for 5 years now, we will use these resources that the Congress provides effectively, efficiently, and accountably to best serve our veterans.
Here is a simple breakdown of the proposed 2015 budget. $68.4 billion in discretionary spending. Most of that is for health care. The almost $60 billion for health care will pay for mental health, prosthetics, spinal cord injuries, traumatic brain injuries, readjustment counseling, and long-term care for 6.7 million patients beginning October 1st, 2014. $95.6 billion for mandatory programs, which includes disability compensation and pension for poor veterans. Visit the webpage on the screen to see how VA plans to use the proposed budget to expand access, eliminate both the claims backlog and homelessness, and for many other services for veterans.
The days of snow and ice in the nation's capital city threw us a bit off schedule, and we didn't finish sharing stories marking Black History Month in February.
An interview Gina Jackson had with Korean War veteran and longtime Hollywood actor James McEachin at the Bob Hope Memorial Coliseum turned out to be much more than a veteran telling us his experience as a Black man in the Army. Our interview was part of Black History Month, and McEachin could easily be a representative for African Americans who served just as U.S. Armed Forces were desegregated. But he makes a profound statement about the importance of team among brothers in arms, no matter their race.
There was a patrol the night before, and they had captured one of our GIs, and they stripped his body upside down and pinned him upside down against the hill. And so our guys decided to form a patrol to go and rescue the body, which we obviously knew was going to be some sort of a trap or an ambush or something. This patrol was led by a Lieutenant Henry A. Schenck, whom I really didn't know. But you got to remember, at that particular time in the Army, the whites didn't fraternize with the blacks, etc. And so I didn't really know him, but he was someone whom you knew that you had to respect. And so when he formed a patrol, I, like the rest of the guys, the 12 or 15 guys, volunteered to go to rescue this young boy who was pinned on the side of the hill. Lieutenant Schenck was perhaps the bravest man that I'd ever known in my life or will ever know in life. When we walked into the patrol, into the ambush, he just fired and fired and fired. He sought no cover, and he was out there in the open, just you know, shouting, cursing, and everything like that, and shooting. And rather than, you know, trying to, he was doing that to draw fire to himself. It was that pivotal moment when I knew that this guy was as heroic as anyone that I'd ever met in life or ever will meet in life. And so it just became riveted in my mind that I would try to do something for him, and particularly after he was killed. I was knocked out. I was KO'd. An explosion came my way, and then I woke up in the stream, and I was so severely wounded I didn't think that I was going to live, and my gut was ripped open here, and I had a fragment in the side here, and then my leg was messed up. I was It was just a total wreck. My career has been, I've been very, very fortunate, but it was a career that I never really wanted, I never actively pursued. But I had come later on in life to realize that it was important. I had my show called Tenderfly. What I never did when I was on the air was to place that much importance to it, and I should have. And so that was one of my major mistakes in life.
But you're missing the point, man. It takes shoe leather, sweat, hunches, it takes all of that.
Hunches, come on, will you? How many hunches does it take to put a man behind bars?
More than you think. Look, I was a cop once, and I know.
Dr. Shell, Lieutenant Brock.
I'll play the American Pimp, I will play Jim Crow, but not the Roscoe.
My last thought is, and will always be, no veterans, no democracy. No democracy, no America.
A programming note. In March, we honor women veterans, and on March 25th, we honor our greatest heroes. That day is Medal of Honor Day. We'll take a special look at Medal of Honor recipients in our next show, because on March 18th, the President is presenting 24 Korean, Vietnam, and OIF veterans with the nation's highest honor for courage.
Despite the snow and ice storms of the past several weeks, good news keeps coming VA's way. For example, there was the announcement a few weeks ago from the White House that a VA employee had again received the top prize in the Securing Americans Value Efficiency, or SAVE, award. Right on the heels of that, VA received notice that its Consolidated Mail Outpatient Pharmacy has the highest customer satisfaction score among the nation's public and private mail-order pharmacies. The rating from an independent survey by J.D. Powers and Associates was the highest for a third consecutive year. It's not a coincidence that the recipient of the 2013 SAVE Award is the director of VA's pharmacy mail-order operation. He is Kenneth Sear, who works out of the Clement Zablocki VA Medical Center in Milwaukee, where videographer Rich Daisy caught up with him and got to talk to him about the award, meeting the president, and the pharmacy program.
Meeting the president was a wonderful experience. We lined up outside the door to the Oval Office and waited for the president to come out. The president himself opened the door and basically said, "Hi guys, come on in." Obviously, we did a lot of handshakes and explanations of what the SAVE Award was all about. I found the president to be extremely personable individual. I told the president that my job with the Department of Veterans Affairs was a wonderful experience, and that helping to take care of America's veterans was something that gave me a lot of job satisfaction. And when we implement this SAVE Award idea, it will make the experience of veterans just all that much better. Whenever I order products online for delivery to my home, I'm always able to track that package in its way from the vendor to my home. As I thought about that, I thought, well, why can't we do that same thing for veterans' medications? And that would increase their satisfaction and decrease the number of phone calls that they would have to make to the VA to find out where their package was. I think I'm very fortunate that the president established a SAVE Award that gave me the opportunities to submit this idea and have the priority of this idea raised so we could get it implemented within the department.
Did you know there are legacies among VA employees? I'll explain. Many VA employees believe their work is a noble calling, much more than concern for fellow humans. In fact, for some VA employees, caring for veterans is in their blood, either through their other family members or by their passion for the work. These devoted employees are known as VA legacies, a line of family members working at VA, some for the department's earliest predecessors, like the National Home for Disabled Volunteer Soldiers. Even VA's longest tenured administrator, General Frank T. Hines, had a brother who worked for the Veterans Bureau and the Veterans Administration. Ken Bond, an employee at the Milwaukee VA Medical Center, was working in the electric shop one day and noticed a 1910 photograph of a VA painter holding a "Keep Out" sign, and was surprised to see it was his grandfather, Albert Bond. Robert Dove was the VA congressional liaison in the 60s and the 70s. His grandfather worked at the Bureau of Pensions from 1891 to 1920. And Dove's mother worked for 3 of the department's predecessor agencies from 1918 to 1931. These 3 women, grandmother, mother, and daughter, worked at the VA hospital in Danville, Illinois, at the same time for a while until the grandmother, Eva Torbett, retired in 1964. Mother Janet Sullivan and daughter Anna Young both worked in the hospital's dietetic service. Dr. Ilse Halbrun and her son, Dr. Alfred Halbrun, escaped Germany in the late 1930s and became top doctors at VA. Mrs. Halbrun was head of pulmonary emphysema at the Wadsworth, Kansas VA Medical Center, and her son was chief of surgery at the VA hospital in Kansas City. Here's a current family legacy. This is Public Affairs Officer Jessica Jacobson, her husband Eric, and their beautiful daughters Eva and Jenna. Jessica is a specialist with the Regional Public Affairs Office in Dallas, and Eric works at the Dallas VA Medical Center. This is Jessica's brother, Broderick Brakefield, his wife Annabelle, and their son Brian. Broderick and Annabelle work at the Bonham, Texas VA Medical Center. And this is the late J.P. Brakefield, Jessica's father, and her mother Linda with granddaughter Jenna. J.P. retired in 2000 as Associate Director at the Temple, Texas VA Medical Center. He was the former Deputy Chief Financial Officer for VHA at VA Central Office. Linda Brakefield retired from the Waco, Texas Regional Office. J.P. Brakefield died Sunday, February 23rd. His legacy is evident. May he rest in peace. VHA historian Darlene Richardson, who provided much of the information about these legacy families, would love to put together stories on other past or current VA legacy families. Call or email her at the address on the screen. That is it for this VA News. We're really glad you could tune in to watch. I am Kevin Walls.
And I'm Leah Mazar. We wish you all a great week. And remember to have faith. Spring is right around the corner. And lastly, congratulations to Kevin, who retires at the end of this month.
Thank you, Leah.